Hello and welcome to the Hi Little Guy Show. What a historic day in America it is. For the first time in history, president, the 45th president in this particular case, was convicted of criminal felony charges of fraud. And we'll see what happens from there. Interesting to see what's going to happen and unfold this November. Hopefully things go in a good direction. I'm not saying one way or the other. And for those that are celebrating Pride, happy Pride to you. And though I try and celebrate who I am every day, it's nice to have a month to be expressed and honored by others as well. So today I wanted to talk to you about words. Why do I want to talk about words? Because it means something to you. See, I even drew a map. And maybe there's been a sigh of relief, at least in America, about this verdict coming out. Maybe that has something to do with a release in tension, if we will. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it caused more tension, yet to be seen. For me, it's indifferent. I wasn't even paying attention, and the truth always rings a bell, as they say. There's a freedom and a lightness and a sigh of relief when you hear the truth. It might not be that dramatic, I should say, but for sure it's nice to hear when you hear it. And as you know from episode 1, the truth is that we are love. And the systems that we have created and put in place to believe something else, let's say, for the sake of argument, that we're not arguing, we're discussing. Your choice of words really do matter. Like if I said something in one way, you, the viewer, will make your own interpretation of what I said. Based on your feelings, based on your thoughts, based on your past, based on everything that you know up until now about the way and the tone and the emphasis, I guess, that I put on certain words. And it might trigger you, and one person might hear one thing and one person might hear another. I don't necessarily have an example, but if you think of, I don't know, scalpel, to a doctor, that means something. To me, I'm like, what do you mean scalpel? Am I going to the doctor? But I relate it to doctors. If you talk about a mechanic and you open up the hood and they know everything that's under there, they can name it by practically not even looking. And, I need a manual. I need it's not my language. But words have been used to create languages. And through that, it's by agreement. Like someone said, this is what that's called, and said, okay. Someone else said, okay. And then that's what that is. No different than a street name or you. You were named whatever. I was named Jason. That's who I am. Try to create a different persona? Sure, you can. But that's a whole different idea. I want to stick on the topic of words and the topic of how we make meaning out of them personally. Because that's what human beings do. We see something, and based on past notes or whatever, thoughts, feelings at the time, maybe you're threatened. You have different thoughts when you're there than when you're at the beach. In fact, you might not have any thoughts when you're at the beach, other than, man, it's hot, or is the pool boy walking by anytime soon, or where's the waiter? The other day, I was waiting outside to go into my friend's wife's surprise birthday party, and a gentleman was standing outside, nicely dressed, shaved head, beard, nicely groomed, one of them vests, collared shirts, slacks, apparently driving a pink Rolls Royce. as I was waiting, he was waiting too. And these two young girls came out, and he starts talking to them. And something might have happened, but I overheard him saying that he carries a gun because you never know what's going to happen in this part of town or whatever. And then I was looking down as my friend was texting me to ask me to go get some, alcoholic iced tea at the store across the street. So I was kind of paying attention to that. And then something caught my attention because I hear this man yelling, "Yeah, keep running, sissy." And then he goes, "You faggot," and just yells it out like that. And I was like, excuse me, you don't have to use words like that. And he said, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "Yes, I'm talking to you." And he walks up with a bull charge. Mind you, this guy is carrying a gun. And he just yelled faggot. So, not a good combo. I was dressed, I had a poncho and some, what are they called? Some patterned silk pants on. So I was, dressed a little on the feminine side, let's say it. And, he comes up and he comes right up to my face and starts saying, "What did you just say?" Blah, 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 blah. Starts screaming at me. And I'm sitting inside thinking, as he's coming up, well, I either punch the guy and he goes down, or he'll kick my ass. Either way, I'm probably dead. So I just let him come up. I mean, he's doing all sorts of things. He comes up and starts screaming at me. He had I'm guessing an Irish accent, maybe English, but somewhere in England or Ireland or that part of the world. So maybe he grew up with a different mentality than I. Obviously, I'm not a violent person. And he came up and he just was yelling at me, and I didn't say anything. I just stood there, and I was like, wow, he's really close. And then he kind of backed away after he saw that I wasn't threatening or standing up or doing nothing. And he goes, "Well, did you see him punch me in the face?" I said, "No." He said, "Then why the fuck are you saying anything?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "I didn't see it." It was like he just wouldn't give me a chance to even say anything, really. And he starts walking away and he goes, "Well, then don't fucking say anything. Don't open your mouth." I said, "Okay, sir, thank you." And I left it at that. Meanwhile, I get back to my text message, and my friend asked me for the iced tea, so I go across the street to get it and to get out of there because I didn't feel safe. This guy has a gun and he's obviously easily triggered. But I came back and he was gone, thankfully, or they were driving off. But thankfully I didn't run back into him. It wasn't a comfortable situation for me. But I acknowledged myself for having the strength to be there without reacting, and the rage in which he was screaming at me has been a past traumatic event for me, so it triggers me very easily. And but I acknowledged myself for the strength it took to stay there, and that was a big step for me because I acknowledged the growth that I had. Now, I could have looked at it like a hate crime. I could have looked at it like I do, as I just shared. A moment to remember that we are all on edge, and, you don't know how someone's going to take anything. I was just trying to say don't use the word faggot. Especially not in the context in which he was screaming it out on the street. So, words have power, but it also is in how you say it, what the tone you use, that also matters. And you might think you're saying it one way, but to someone else it's going to occur some way different, just because that's the nature of us and our pasts. So maybe show a little kindness and, just stand there and not have it be a personal message. Don't have it be that this man is mad at me. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I can just absorb his anger and let it go through me, if you will. And that's what I did. But you choose the words, but more importantly, you choose the meaning. And meaning is when I mean truth. What I said earlier, when the truth rings, when you hear the authenticity of someone using language that's either, authentic or open or intimate or something like that, you hear it. I mean, I do. I think you do, don't you? There's a difference between someone saying, "Oh, babe," and "Oh, babe." You hear the different levels of excitement, perhaps, or thanks, perhaps. And that's what I mean about the meaning of words and how we make the meaning. And if we can, detach ourselves from making it personal, then I think we'll have a better world here, It takes practice, trust me, I believe you, but nothing's personal. Nothing. Everybody's having their own experience of life. And it's up to us to not get attached to it, enrolled, in the chaos of it. It's just to be. And the more we can be, the more symbiotic we will work. And, the more kind we'll be. That's my, what I gotta say. So, for now, that's the Hi from the Little Guy. And until next time, be good. Stay kind, and I love you.